voters who don't care about politics are very angry with politics and they don't want to hear politicians. And then campaign becomes a way to just getting voters' attentions and even buying audiences because people are very angry. Once a party or a party coalition gets elected and forms a government, they are again dealing with lots of money. This time it's about how best to allocate public expenditure, and that's something voters rarely have much say in, which may be why so many voters today feel alienated from politics. Foreign listener Todd from the United States has a suggestion to remedy it.
The concept I came up with actually probably 20, 25 years ago, but was the idea of trying to hold politicians more accountable to where budget is allocated based on voter preference, not just the feedback we get from special interests and so forth. So what I was thinking about is a process where, say, when you file your taxes every year, you could have a list of, say, 10 key categories that citizens could select when there's discretionary budget available. They can choose which buckets they'd like that money spent in. That wouldn't be the sole decider of how budget gets allocated, but it would be something that would be publicly available. People could see by district where people actually weigh in and where they would like their tax dollars to be spent, and then that could be a counter to some of the special interest pressure that politicians face because a lot of times we don't get visibility into what the general population would like to see money spent on.
So elected politicians would have to take more note of the public spending preferences and what they are. But just to be clear, we aren't talking about the whole of the government's budget, are we?
There's probably 90% of the budget that for military defense, roads, healthcare, various programs that literally cannot be eliminated. You can't mess with that stuff. But there is skim on the top that we could better, I think, reflect what citizens would like to see prioritized, as opposed to, if you think about the way it works right now, they get elected and they delegate authority, right? So they get to decide.
To change the scope of how political parties operate, to make them much more local. And we've had listener Catherine in Taiwan send us this comment.
Current political parties are too entrenched and people are too many. And so representative democracy cannot represent anybody adequately. Democracy works better on a smaller, local level in which people represent themselves, along with mediators and moderators to facilitate discussion and resolution.
Political parties come in all shapes and sizes, and their ideas are just as varied, which is not surprising, given how long some of them have been around. Some people say that the origins of modern political parties date to the 18th century, and others argue that even in ancient Greece and Rome, they had them. And it's thanks to the French Revolution, or rather the French National Assembly at the time, that we think of some parties as left-wing and others as right-wing. But among all this variety of political options, how do we, as the voting public, decide how to cast our vote? Find out in the second half of this forum from the BBC World Service in a couple of minutes. This is the BBC World Service, exploring a global cultural craze.
Korean culture has spread across the world. It's inescapable. It crosses every continent, from music to computer games, from food to film, and even television. Korean actors are very beautiful. They're perfect.
Yeah.
Korean TV dramas or K-dramas are some of Korea's biggest exports.
K-drama talk about motherhood, family love. The characters, they are very warm.
And watching them has never been easier. The global streamings are such an important part.
It's easy to watch with the whole family.
I'm Mina Kim, a South Korean actress. I've starred in some of these K-dramas, and I'm finding out about their impact and how they're evolving.
K-drama, a global force on screen. Sunday at 12:30 GMT.